my name is Alex. I have an Instagram and YouTube Love Sugar Show. Want to thank you for taking your time for doing this interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So, the first question that I ask anyone that I ever interview is how's everything going, not just in your music life, but also in your personal life as well?
It's going all right. Yeah, so musically, we're releasing some singles at the moment. So we're gradually building up towards the release of the album later on in the year in September. We've got a gig booked, a hometown lead show for in a few months' time. So that'll be cool. So music's going all right. Would like to be playing some more shows, to be honest, but we'll see how that goes. Maybe try and get some more booked. But yeah, it's going all right. Haven't really started writing any new stuff for the subsequent album yet. I guess there's no rush because we haven't even released this one yet. But yeah, the inspiration's not quite arrived yet, so I'll probably need to just sit myself down and start working quite soon on the next thing. But yeah, it's all going pretty well. Personal life, yeah, it's all right. I guess so I work in a university as well as doing my own music, and I teach music, sound and recording and stuff like that. That's all going pretty well at the moment. We're just getting towards the end of the academic year. So that's cool. So I balance that with doing my own music and everything and with the band. My daughter is 4 years old and she has just had a heart operation to have a pacemaker fitted.
Oh
Because she's,
no.
yeah, no, it's all right. She's got something called a heart block where the top part of the heart doesn't talk properly to the bottom part of the heart. So it means it just beats a lot slower, or it was beating a lot slower. And they were going to try and wait for a few years before they fitted the pacemaker because you can put it in a better place and it lasts for a bit longer once they're a bit older. But they noticed on one of her regular checks that she has that her heart had started to slow down even more. So that meant that they had to bring the operation forward and get it done. So she's just had that. So she's off school at the moment. So I'm spending some days off with her, but she's recovering really well. It was last week that it was done. And yeah, she's made a brilliant recovery already. So she's doing really well. So yeah, that's all great, really. So yeah, stuff going on. What else is going on? I don't know, not that much really, but it's all good basically. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, besides your daughter, that's not great, but I'm glad that she's making a recovery and hopefully that goes well.
Yeah, totally. Thanks.
So, like you said, you do have some time for this album since it doesn't release in September. So, it definitely sounds like you can get some shows booked in and maybe do a little
Yeah.
something in the meantime, for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we need to get some more shows booked in. If there are any promoters out there that would like to have us, Duncan Evans and the Weeping Starlight, then we'd be interested. So get in touch, give us a shout. Duncan Evans Music on Instagram and Facebook, and D Evans Music on X. So yeah, feel free to get in touch if you're a promoter out there and you'd like to have us. We'd like to do some more playing around, some touring. Did a couple of shows a little further away over the past year. Did one in Portsmouth or near Portsmouth, and we played in Wales, in Newport in Wales, with a great band called Pantheist, a doom metal band. Which was a cool show. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're up for getting out and about and playing more, basically. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So, I want to talk about this album. You went into this album with the Weeping Starlight. What
Yeah.
was that collaboration like?
Yeah, so basically it's a band that we've actually been playing for quite a few years together in different versions of this lineup. So it's been fairly constant with the drummer and bassist. So essentially we're a three-piece. So there's me, Duncan Evans on guitar and vocals, and I do the synths and keyboards on the album. We've actually
Mhm.
tried to get various keyboard players over the years, and for some reason it just keeps not working out. One of them moved to London. One of them just stopped answering the phone to us. So there we go. So there's been a few keyboard players because I do like the addition of keyboards and synths to our sound, and they're on the album as well. So again, if there are any keyboard players out there, synth players, keyboard players that are vaguely near Leeds, UK, give us a shout, get in touch. We'd love to have a little bit of a jam with you and get you on board if you'd be up for it. But yeah, so the bass player is Ol Jessup, who's also in A Forest of Stars. Great bass player, great guy, really funny guy, really easy to get along with, comes up with some great bass lines. So with Yeah, so he's really good. The drummer is Kev Reed, who also runs a drum store called Sweet Deal Drums and runs Lee's Drum Studio, where he teaches the drums as well. So he does loads of stuff. He's absolutely brilliant, really fantastic drummer. Great for kind of heavy, groovy stuff. Into his metal, as we all kind of are. Not that what we do quite is metal, but everyone's got a little bit of a metal background, which I like. I like to have that edge so that we can go a little bit noisy at times and get a little bit harsh and abrasive in the music.
Mhm.
Um, Even though it's not metal as such. So we actually played together first for my second solo album, which was just under the name Duncan Evans, which was released back in 2018, and that was
Mhm.
called Prayers for an Absentee. So on just over half the tracks, I had essentially that band playing with me. And we got my friend Phil to do some keyboards for that album as well, not as a kind of member of the band as well. At the time, they were, I guess, everyone was treated as session musicians in a way. I didn't know what was going to happen with the project and whether we were going to take it forward and do more records together or what, or whether it was just going to be a one-off with a full band. Because my very first solo album was pretty much just me. I had some backing vocals from Katie, who's also from A Forest of Stars, a band that I used to be in as well.
Mhm.
But it was mostly just me, acoustic guitar, some electric guitar overdubs, and my voice for the most part. And then for the second one, I wanted more of a full band lineup. I wanted a bigger sound, so I got in touch with some musicians who I kind of knew from the scene, from the lead scene, and they were up for
Mhm.
doing it. And that was Al and Kev. So when we got, so then I did another solo split album, which was kind of a collaboration album as well, which was released in 2021. That was with Javier Wallace, who calls himself, or did call himself, Wilderness Hymnal. I think he's kind of finished that project now, and he's gone on to do a new one. I'm not quite sure of the name, but so that was kind of just me again, and that was mostly synth based. Actually, I did some quite experimental synthy avant-garde stuff on that album.
Mhm.
But then when it came to doing this album, I wanted to use the full band again. I wanted the full band sound. So we'd also done a few shows in the meantime, um, as well, just as Duncan Evans initially. But then from about 2022, I decided that I kind of wanted to give it a band name and I wanted to solidify this as the proper lineup of my band. So it was still me, but Duncan Evans and the Weeping Starlight. Um, so Al and Kev became the other members of the Weeping Starlight alongside myself, basically. So the collaboration was great, really easy to work with, great rehearsing. We rehearse at Kev's studio, which is free for us, which is really nice. That's good of Kev
Oh,
to let us
nice.
have it for free. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, really, really good, really easy to get along with. And I kind of, so for this album, it was a little more collaborative, and there are some co-write credits on there. Like Ol co-wrote Suffer with me. He came up with some of the bass lines that are a really key, integral part of the song. So it was a little more collaborative, but it was still largely me coming up with the songs in their initial form, mostly just kind of worked out on the acoustic guitar with me singing as well. And then I brought them to the band and they embellished them, but I allowed the band kind of did the arrangement rather than the songwriting as such. The band definitely all collaborated together on the arrangement, so we arranged a lot of the music in the studio, and I was kind of doing bits of writing in between studio rehearsal sessions. Then we'd come to a rehearsal session, and I'd bring new songs and new parts to songs, and then we'd work out how the drums and bass might slot in, and they'd come up with their own ideas to fit in. So, yeah, the collaboration was great, really smooth, really easy, great guys to work with, and great musicians.
Oh, that's awesome. So I know you said there was a little bit more like collaboration.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else who kind of collaborated? Like I know you said you're like a trio. Did you guys like meet up to like discuss ideas or how did that kind of work?
Yeah, so we there's a couple of other people who are on the album. There's someone called Sage Greenberg from the band Night Goat who did some backing vocals, and we collaborated entirely remotely. She's over in the US, obviously I'm in the UK in Leeds. So that was
Mhm.
done entirely remotely. So I just sent her the backing tracks, and gave us some guidelines for what I wanted her to sing, mostly kind of doubling what I was doing in higher octave on certain choruses and things of songs, but sometimes adding some harmonies as well, which she did a really great job with. So that was really cool. And then we also got Gareth Hodgson in, who came into the studio with us,
Hmm.
who's also from A Forest of Stars. He's the drummer in A Forest of Stars. So he played some percussion. So like some shakers, some tambourines, some maracas, which added another element. And we recorded that live. So we did all the backing tracks, the main tracks for the album live in the studio, in a big studio called The Nave in Leeds, which is an old church. So it's got a really great big sound. You get the drums right up by this big, tall stone wall, and you can get a really nice, spacious sound on the drums with that. So yeah, in terms of collaborating, yeah, it was mostly it was the three of us really. It was me writing the songs mostly on my own at home, playing them on acoustic guitar, coming up with the lyrics, sitting down writing the lyrics, and then we would have rehearsal sessions as it got closer to the recording time. Probably like once a week we were rehearsing, just going through stuff. I was bringing in new ideas, new songs, new bits of songs, and then we'd just thrash them out in the studio. I'd give the thumbs up or say, ah, that was great, but maybe we could just change this or that about the bass line or the drum part. And then we'd just work it out from there and work out what we needed to embellish the song. So, yeah, and then I overdubbed the keyboard parts after that and overdubbed the vocals, just recorded myself in my little home studio that I've got.
Hmm.
So we did it like that. But yeah, so that was it in terms of the collaboration. That was how it worked, really.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like everything kind of worked out the way it should then.
Hmm.
Well, that's great. So in the songs, I did kind of, it felt like there was like emotions put into every song. So what kind of like emotions were you, I guess, trying to put into this album?
Yeah. I guess a lot of the songs start from a slightly dark place. A lot of them are about difficult times or loss. There's a song called Lost. There's a song called Suffer, which is about suffering. So a lot
Hmm.
of them come from quite a dark place. And The World is a War Zone, which is obviously the album title, but is also a key single from the album, which will be out, I think, in August at some point with a music video as well. So that's about feeling that the world is against you, feeling that everything's difficult, feeling that things are going wrong, that every day is a battle, stuff like that. So there were a lot of those kind of emotions going into it. So I guess some negative stuff like depression, and also part of it's inspired by, like, I had a bit of a journey which was actually kind of in the middle of recording the album after we'd done the all the original backing tracks, but before I'd done most of the vocal recording. I had a bit of an episode. I had a little bit of a breakdown, to be honest. This was a couple of years ago now, because it's been quite a long process, but which we might go into in a little bit. But yeah, and I had a bit of an episode and got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Had to go to hospital for a little while for that. And it's all good now, all sorted. But it's good to have the diagnosis, and I take medication for that these days. But some of the lyrics were inspired by that as well. So the difficulty of going through a mental health episode, I guess. But in the vast majority of cases, if not all the cases, really, there are themes of redemption and of finding yourself and of overcoming problems and difficulty. And a lot of it is about how we can find solace and how we can re-find joy and enlightenment, and find maybe something spiritual, I guess, in
Hmm.
ourselves by looking within ourselves and finding that spark of life that I guess we all have, and trying to use that to ignite something to bring back more positivity. So it's not all doom and gloom and darkness and despair. I guess a lot of it starts off with despair, but it's about transcending despair and kind of transmuting despair into joy and into positivity and
Hmm.
experiencing love and compassion and kindness and all these things. So yeah, I guess that probably sums it up in terms of the emotional journeys that a lot of the songs take, really.
And you said that it took a little while for this album. How long did it take you to, I guess, from the first riff or whatever was written to finish.
Well, it's interesting because some of these actual little riffs and melodies and chord sequences were written quite a lot of years ago. Because what I tend to do, which I actually, like I was saying, I haven't done this for a little while. I need to get back into it. But generally, if I'm
Hmm.
playing the guitar and just improvising around, and I just play something that I like the sound of that's new, then I'll just grab my phone and record it in the voice notes. And then it just goes into there, into a bank of ideas. So I guess the bank of ideas for this probably started even before, excuse me, even before I did the split album with Wilderness Hymnal. So we're probably going back to something like 2019 or something like that when I would have
Well,
started writing some of these little parts which became the songs. And then eventually, when it gets to a little bit closer, when I've decided, right, I'm going to now start properly writing the next album, I'll go through these voice notes and just have a listen and see what's good. A lot of it's not great, so I scrap it, but the bits that are good, I'll take them and then try and expand them, or maybe combine two or more of those little ideas that maybe fit together. Perhaps they're in the same key, similar tempo, things like that, and see if I can
mhm.
start to make the musical ideas for a song. And I do the same with lyrics as well. If if I'm just whenever I'm out and about doing something or whatever, if an idea strikes, then I just email myself, just drop myself a little email with a couple of lines of lyrics, and then I've got a document on my computer that's just called lyric ideas, where I've just got this big list of just lines, little sets of two or three lines, some a little more than that. And again, a lot of it turns out to be not good, and I scrap it. But little bits will be good, and I'll use them as the seed for ideas. So yeah, I think we probably started properly writing together. Well, me writing, but the band arranging together, should I say? I think that was probably around 2022. So we're going back sort of 4 years now. And then we booked the studio time to record the backing tracks around, I think it was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was like April-ish, 2023 was when we did that. So we recorded the backing
Oh,
tracks then. So quite a long time ago again. But then I hadn't actually written all the lyrics at that time. So I was singing kind of guide lyrics for quite a lot of the songs, knowing that I was going to re-overdub my vocal parts with the proper lyrics at a later date. So then it took a while, and just I guess just life got in the way a little bit. Like looking after my daughter takes a lot of time. Working, doing a full-time job as well as my music takes up a lot of time. So I guess all that stuff got in the way a little bit. And then I had my experience with the bipolar disorder, with the episode that I had, which was at the end
mhm.
of 2023 and went into 2024. So that all kind of set things back a little bit. And then I didn't properly get back on my feet again to be able to go back and finish writing the lyrics till probably mid 2024. And then I think by the end of 2024, I think I'd recorded everything and done the synths and keyboards as well. But then I had to mix it. I do all the mixing myself. And the sound engineering for the overdubs, which I do in my own little home studio. So that took some time. And again, just life got in the way, really. Just day-to-day stuff taking up time. So it all took a little longer than planned. Well, quite a lot longer than planned, but I was really glad to get it finished in the end. So I think the mixing probably was finished sometime in 2025. And then I got it mastered sometime in 2025, maybe around the middle of 2025. So it was all done and ready to go. And then we've delayed the release date a bit because the PR people that I'm working with at C Squared Music, who are great. I was going to release it early this year, so it would have been released around March 2026. But
Yeah.
the PR guys basically said, no, what you need to do is release 5 singles from the album, stagger them 6 weeks apart, and build up a little bit of a buzz around it and stuff like that, and do some interviews and things like I'm doing right now.
Hey.
So get all that stuff happening and then not release it until like September. So we're releasing on the 18th of September, 2026 finally. So yeah, it did take a long, long time, and just life got in the way, things happened. and it all got delayed. It's the longest I've spent doing an album ever. So hopefully the next one will be a little quicker to do. But yeah, that's how long it took, basically.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that everything's like set up. I think the only sad thing is, I mean, I listened to this album two or three times, and I think the only sad part is everyone that has to wait till September to actually listen to it. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so good. And even though you said it's not metal, I guess technically it's not. It's like metal in a different way. It's,
Hmm.
very, I don't know, like you said, like there's struggles in there, but then there's like a sign of hope. And I feel like a lot of people need that, especially with, like I mean the title, The World is at a War Zone. So,
Yeah, no, the world is in a difficult position in a minute at the minute, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And in a way, the album title doesn't really reference the fact that obviously there's actual wars going on and things like that at the moment, and there have been plenty of those going on over the past few years. The album title isn't necessarily meant to really mean that. It's more about a state of mind of feeling that the world is against you and that every day is a battle and things like that. But
yeah.
I guess that it does also in a way fit in with just the state of the world, things being difficult at the moment, everything that's going on in the news, all sorts of difficulties going on for all sorts of people around the world.
Mm.
So yeah, hopefully there is redemption, there's hope, as you said, there's solace, there's the desire to find peace within ourselves, there's all that stuff. And yeah, hopefully, people do need a bit of that, and hopefully they'll enjoy it when they listen to the record.
I think they will for sure. I really enjoyed it. So it's definitely one of my.
I'm really glad. Yeah, I'm really glad. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm curious to know, because I know you said like it's taken a while and there's been some emotional things that have happened while you've been recording. What song did you pour the most emotion into?
Oh wow, that's a difficult one because I feel like they're all their own thing and they all have slightly different emotions to them, and they're all about journeys in different ways. There are, as I've kind of alluded to already, there are uniting themes and things that link them together. But what song did I pour the most emotions? I mean, I guess probably my favorite track on the album is the title track, "The World Is a War Zone." A lot went into that, and that came around quite quickly. I wrote it quite quick. I'd written most of the album. That came quite late, actually, in the writing process a few years ago when I was just still writing the record, and it kind of poured out of me. It suddenly,
Oh
can't
wow.
remember exactly which bit came first, but I remember strumming the guitar in this room. We're in my kitchen at the moment, and this is where I was, and I was just strumming the guitar, and I just had this idea, and I just kind of came up with it, and it all just fell out of me really quickly. And then the lyrics were pretty quick to write as well. I think this was one of the ones where I had actually finished the lyrics before we recorded the backing tracks. So the words I was singing on the demo vocals that we did in the studio were actually the final lyrics. So the lyrics came out quickly as well. And yeah, it felt quite personal to me because I guess it's a mindset that I've perhaps felt in my own life. The world is a war zone. Every day is a battle. Life can be difficult. Things are tough. Everything's against me. That type of idea. But the idea of redemption that comes towards the end and overcoming that. And the chorus talks about wanting to be set free. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, light shine on me, love set me free, and yeah, that desire for love and for peace and for some kind of redemption and resolution, and overcoming transcendence, all those types of ideas. So I guess perhaps I poured the most into that if I was going to pick one.
Yeah.
Hard question though.
Hey, the questions that make you think are the best ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you hope the listeners take away when they listen to the album?
Yeah, well, I hope in some way that it might help people to feel some of that transcendence and might take them away from their struggles and the difficulties in their life somewhat. I mean, I hope they enjoy some of the actual music in terms of just like there's a few riffs on there, there's some great drumming all the way through, some great bass lines. Hopefully, my guitar lines are all right as well. So I hope it brings them some joy. So I guess ultimately it is about bringing peace, bringing joy, bringing solace, taking you away from your day-to-day struggles and the things that just get on your nerves or bring you down day to day. I guess any type of art is really supposed to take you away from that and help you
Hmm.
understand the world in a slightly different, hopefully better way, and to allow you to make sense of things, make sense of your own life a little bit more, perhaps, and rise above the difficult times and things like that. So, yeah, I hope people enjoy the music. I hope they enjoy the grooves and the sounds. I hope it takes them on an emotional journey, just sonically, just the actual chord sequences and melodies and drums and bass and everything else. I hope that
Hmm.
that takes them on an emotional journey, which is positive in some way. And I hope the lyrics perhaps help them to feel some joy and some transcendence in their own lives.
Well, awesome. I have one kind of fun question for you. If the world is a war zone, is kind of like the conflict, what would
Yeah.
the next record have to be to sound like to represent peace, or what would it be called?
Oh wow, that's a difficult question. Yeah, yeah. The world is no longer a war zone. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as I say, I haven't thought a whole lot about what's going to come next yet, and actually, for whatever reason, don't know why, but I've just not really been um, throwing those ideas into the voice recorder lately. So I need to get back into doing that really. And I've not really been throwing the lyric ideas into my emails to myself lately either. So I need to think about that some more. But yeah, what could it be called? Redemption. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I don't know really. But yeah, perhaps the next album could be a little bit more about that, but I just don't know yet. I haven't thought too much about it, but yeah, peace at last. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've been dealing with a lot in your personal life, so I think you
Yeah,
should throw yourself some grace there.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I do have one last question here for
yeah.
you. Is there anything that you'd like to say to anyone who's been following your project, anyone who would be interested in listening to this album, or just anything in general? The virtual floor is all yours.
Oh wow! Anything I'd like to say to anyone? Well, I hope people enjoy the music. I hope they get something out of it. I find it difficult to categorize my music at times. So I call it it's a bit influenced by dark folk, it's influenced by post-punk, it's influenced by singer-songwriters. Um yeah, I call it cathartic post-punk melancholia, but influenced by folk music. So yeah, I hope people can find a way to this album. I hope they can find a connection with it. I hope it resonates with them. It's always great because people do get in touch from time to time and talk about how my music has resonated with them and how it's inspired them. So, and that's all you can ask for as an artist, really, is to be able to inspire other people and for them to experience something emotionally and something deep within your art that you're producing. So, yeah, I guess that's I suppose my other message is there is hope. There's always hope. You can always find a way out of life's difficulties, and if we look within ourselves, we can find peace. We can find some sort of spirituality, whether we're religious or not. I'm not really religious, but I believe that we can find some sense of divinity or heaven, if you want to call it that, within ourselves. So keep going. Don't give up. Find that peace, search for it, step towards the light, and yeah, keep on keeping on.
Well, awesome. And for anyone listening to this interview, I'm so sorry, guys, but you're gonna have to wait till September. But it sounds like some singles will be released, so that will hold you over. The album is called The World is a War Zone. And if you can let the listeners know where they can get it when it comes out.
Yeah, so generally the best place is my Bandcamp. There is my website. I think it's duncanevans-music.co.uk. You'll be able to get it on there. My Bandcamp, if you just search Duncan Evans Bandcamp, it'll be there. So it's Bandcamp's a really good platform if you want, especially if you want to get it as a physical copy on CD, or you can get it as a digital download. It'll also be on all the streaming sites, so Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, everything. It'll all be up there as well. So yeah, just search Duncan Evans music, Duncan Evans and the Weeping Starlight. Bandcamp is great, like I say, but you'll find it. So yeah,
And I'll make it really easy for you guys. I'll put all the links below so you can just do one quick click and you're right there. So
perfect.
I want to thank you so much for taking your time for doing the interview with me.